And yes, viewers, President Joko Widodo asked his ministers to be careful in conveying the COVID-19 vaccine procurement policy to the public. Even President Jokowi said that the price of COVID-19 vaccine should not be disclosed to the public.
When opening a limited meeting today, President Joko Widodo asked the ministers to be careful in conveying the COVID-19 vaccine procurement policy to the public. Jokowi also asked his ministers to manage public communication about the COVID-19 vaccine properly, so that there was no rejection from the public during the vaccination process.
Jadi saya harapkan betul-betul disiapkan mengenai vaksin, mengenai komunikasi publiknya terutama yang berkaitan dengan halal dan haram, yang berkaitan dengan harga, yang berkaitan dengan kualitas, nanti yang berkaitan dengan distribusinya seperti apa. Meskipun tidak semuanya perlu kita sampaikan ke publik, harga ini juga tidak harus kita sampaikan ke publik.
Previously, Director of Bio Farma, Honesty Bashir, confirmed that the price of the COVID-19 vaccine from Sinovac in Indonesia would not be burdensome, where the price of the vaccine is estimated to be around 200,000 rupiah per dose. From all sources for IDX Channel.
The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, again cut its projections for Indonesia's economic growth in 2020. The Finance Minister, Sri Mulyani, expects that the economy to recover soon, as indicators in the end of the third quarter show improvement.
The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, projects that Indonesia will experience a deeper contraction in economic growth in 2020, which is minus 1.5%. But IMF also predicts that Indonesia's economic performance will improve in 2021, where it will grow in the range of 6.1%. In a discussion of IMF annual meeting, Finance Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati explained that uncertainty about the end of the pandemic still lurks Indonesia's economic prospect, where annual economic growth will fall this year between 1.7% to 0.6%. However, Sri Mulyani ensures that the situation in the third quarter will be much better, considering several economic indicators such as improving business and manufacturing activities to a positive trade balance, indicating that the recovery process in the domestic economy is starting to run.
As you mentioned, that IMF forecast is better. We also saw an improvement on the third quarter after a very deep contraction of 5.3. We are now getting better on the third quarter, and we do hope that this momentum of recovery is going to be continued.
The IMF projects that the global economy will experience a 4.4% contraction in 2020, driven by economic performance recovery in the United States and Europe. On the other hand, the China economy will also grow again, but IMF predicts that in 2021, the global economy will grow 5.2%, or lower than the previous projection of 5.4%. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
Strong international cooperation on the procurement and fulfillment of the COVID-19 vaccine is believed to be able to accelerate the recovery of the global economy. The IMF estimates that the global economic income could increase by $9 trillion by 2025 if the vaccine can be spread throughout the country.
The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, believes global economic income could increase to $9 trillion by 2025. On the sidelines of the annual meeting of the World Bank, IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva explained that vaccine cooperation is the main determining factor. The IMF emphasizes the need for the COVID-19 vaccine to be distributed evenly throughout the world, from rich countries to poor countries, to increase confidence in economic activity in general. The IMF called the most urgent international cooperation as this time is for COVID-19 vaccine development and distribution, so each country is expected to make a positive contribution.
Very clearly, vaccine policy is an economic policy, and it can only work if it works everywhere. We actually calculated being the IMF and crunching numbers, that if we have an accelerated vaccine everywhere, not patchily here and there, by 2025, we will generate additional $9 trillion just by doing something that would be done together rather than separately.
IMF Managing Director Kristalina emphasized the need for fair and affordable access for the fulfillment of the COVID-19 vaccine globally, so that the hope of recovery in all countries can be achieved in the near future. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
Good news came from pharmaceutical industry, whereas the government provides super tax deductions for research and development activities in the industry. Even better, the government provides reductions in gross income of up to 300% of the total cost incurred. These provisions are in the Minister of Finance Regulations number 153 of 2020 concerning granting of reductions in gross income for certain research and development activities in Indonesia. These regulations took effect as of October 9, 2020. Even so, fiscal authority remains strict in screening applicants for these super tax deductions incentives, so that the incentives recipients are really in the research and development priorities in line with government's goal. Sectors which can receive gross income reductions of up to 300% is pharmacy, with the theme of research and development of pharmaceutical ingredients, pharmaceuticals for humans, traditional medicine, vital pharmacy industry, extracts and natural ingredients industry, as well as medical and laboratory equipment. From all sources, IDX Channel. Stay with us. Market headlines will be right back after this quick break.
Nama saya Devisa Novel, jabatan saat ini di IDX Channel adalah sebagai produser dan sekaligus presenter program yang dibawakan saat ini dengan nama IDX Second Session Closing, terkait juga dengan kondisi capital market Indonesia dan perkembangannya dari waktu ke waktu. Dan saya sangat senang untuk belajar dan berkecimpung di berita ekonomi, khususnya di capital market.
Adikarya komitmennya kemanapun dan apapun yang akan dibangun oleh negara, kita akan siap mendukung. Kita juga saat ini punya proyek di ujung Banda Aceh dan juga punya proyek di Papua.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. High volatility and uncertainty in the market has hurted Indonesia's mutual fund industry. For instance, asset under management in the mutual fund industry during September 2020 decreased from the previous month's position. According to Infovesta Head Investment Research, Wawan Hendrayana, the decline in asset under management was due to the decrease in domestic mutual fund industry's asset under management. These include 4 conventional mutual funds, such as equity funds, balanced funds, fixed income funds, money market fund, protected funds, and ETFs. The largest decline in asset under management occurred in conventional mutual funds, with the reductions of more than 1 trillion rupiah in the past month. The worst decline occurred in equity funds. Equity funds fell around 5.52 trillion rupiah in the past month. It decreased from 106.73 trillion rupiah to 101.2 trillion rupiah at the end of the last month. From all sources, IDX Channel. And yes, viewers, Indonesia's mutual fund industry is under pressure. Asset under management in the mutual fund industry during September decreased from the previous month's positions. In the midst of pandemic, asset managers have been responding to unprecedented situations, but there are asset managers that keep a good performance even in the midst of pandemic. For instance, Mandiri Management Investasi. It makes us truly wonder what Mandiri Management Investasi's strategy to survive in the midst of pandemic is. And to get know more about that, we are going to have a further discussions with Alvin Patisahusiwa as the President Director of Mandiri Management Investasi. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you, Clara?
I'm good, sir. So, sir, we've been living in a pandemic for months. In terms of mutual funds, do you recognize any shifting market appetite in the midst of pandemic?
Well, yes. First of all, thank you for inviting me on this event.
For sure.
We are in Mandiri Investasi have been experienced declining asset under management back in April. But since August and September, we've been already going back to our position in the beginning of the year. So I think the pandemic situation is really affecting our asset under management, but not so until August or September. Anyway, the market appetite so far still prefer on less risky assets, such as a money market fund and short duration bonds, since domestic economy remain muted until third quarter of 2020. So there are several things. The first thing is a flush of liquidity in the market, giving loosening fiscal and monetary policy. And as we know, while the government has pushed almost 700 trillion of National Economic Recovery Fund, but only around 40 to 50% has been dispersed so far. The second thing is the loan growth from the banks, which is only grew by 0.12% or almost flat, while third-party funds in the bank grew around 12%. The third one is the crisis situation has made it benefiting for the bond market given loosening monetary policy, but not so for equity so far. And the last thing is the pandemic situation has benefiting new economic structure, which driven by the technology and the innovation, running business from home, for example. So combination of these things, for example, the flush of liquidity has created demand of low risk assets such as money market fund or money market mutual fund, given the situation of people that sensitive of the interest rate, deposit that very sensitive to the interest rate, switching from the deposit to the money market fund. The other thing that we also manage the 100% of Sharia offshore equity fund. The surge of the other market, especially in the U.S., in China, and other North Asia market, also attracted some investors to ride on the global funds, supported by the faster global recovery post-COVID-19 outbreak. So we've seen that our offshore Sharia equity fund also grew quite tremendously.
All right, sir. When you mentioned about Sharia equity funds, is it happening right now, or is it happening like a couple of months ago before the pandemic?
Okay, before the pandemic, it's already quite attractive because it has a theme of a global disruption. It invested in some stocks that could disrupt the old economic structure. For example, the stocks of Apple, Microsoft, Google, or even some biotechnology company, or even the healthcare company, such as Roche and the other companies. So this has already been attractive because it's disrupting the way that people do something in the all economics section. But after the pandemic, I think this becoming more interesting because people are shifting the way of their doing business more into the technology-driven. So Internet of Things, and then the running business from home, and then the biotechnology company that have a research for the new technology of the medicine and something. So this attractiveness of the Sharia offshore equity is becoming more and more attract some new investor after the pandemic situation.
All right, so it's really interesting that you point out that a Sharia offshore equity fund is really grabbing up investors' appetite in here. But we cannot even deny the fact that mutual funds industry in Indonesia is deeply corrected since the pandemic itself. But then there's an interesting fact about Mandiri Investasi in here. We got that the fact that throughout this year, Mandiri Investasi won the best positions of asset under management 3 times, namely in May, July, and September. What is the secret, sir? What is your company's strategy to face these kind of pandemic and such a market volatility?
Okay, so Mandiri Investasi, we have a wide variety of funds with different investment strategy. We have from low volatility money market fund, short duration bond fund, up until high volatility small mid-cap equity strategy. So an investor can choose to invest in the currency such as IDR or US dollar. They can also choose from the conventional to the Sharia. So we have a wide variety of a product that investor can choose. So from the conventional, we have also conventional mutual fund. We also have a private equity type of the fund. So all of these funds have a unique proposition that can be utilized by different type of investor. Of course, different investors have different type of risk. Different investors have different type of expected return. So our task is to guide the investors on the short term and also in the long term view and bring them to the right solution for their investing goals. So this is our key to be quite successful, has been successful so far.
All right, so that's really interesting. We hope nothing but the best for Mandiri Management Investasi to have more asset under management and also good performance in the later on. Sir, thank you for your time with us.
Thank you.
Yes, viewers, stay with us because market headlines will be right back after this quick break.
IDX Channel, the Indonesia Stock Exchange channel, is the authorized capital market channel in Indonesia. To give references to global investors, IDX Channel also presented the news about the dynamic of Indonesia's economy, business, and capital market in English. IDX Channel also have different types of programs. They are Special Dialogue, Market Opening, Market Review, IDX First Session Closing, IDX Second Session Closing, Market Headlines, and News Screen. IDX Channel is aired 24 hours a day with 5 hours live program from Indonesia Stock Exchange trading floor. Our vision and mission as the only capital market TV channel in Indonesia that is committed to improve the capital market knowledge in the country. News that had been delivered on IDX Channel can also be seen on our digital platforms, so you can give yourself an update about informations anywhere and everywhere. IDX Channel can be watched through Vision Channel, First Media Channel, IndiHome Channel, and Vision Plus, and also live streaming on idxchannel.com. IDX Channel provides information from around the world from different perspectives. We provide you various investment strategies, stock options, inspiring figures for your business references. IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. So let's take a look at the Jakarta Composite Index and the redo movement. So earlier today, JCI was open at level of 5,115.3, and in approaching the closing time in the first session, the index was on the level of 5,113.91. Then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session's closing time. The index was closed at the level of 5,126.33, and in short, JCI went up 0.45%. Next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got mining as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 1.43%. Finance went up 1.07%. And next, we got agriculture as the leader of the weakening trend that went down 0.79%, and infrastructure that went down 0.5%. Moving on to the top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights for today's trading. ANTM went up 12.32% to the level of 1,055 rupiah per share, and we got banking sector BBCA that went up 2.43%, and we got BSDE that went up 6.29%, and also we got CTRA that went up at 3.87%. Meantime, for the top losers for today's trading, we got Telkom that went down 1.45%, and then we got TOWR that went down 1.95%. We got Agro that went down 4.48%. We got GGRM that went down 1.88%. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. So rupiah opened at level of 14,741. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trends towards US dollar. I was closed at the level of 14,694. In summary, rupiah went up 0.04%. And yes, viewers, in the opening ceremony of the Capital Market and Summit Expo 2020, OJK revealed that the dominations of retail investors in the Indonesia capital market is one of the good indicators. At the same time, OJK hopes that the capital market deepening will continue, one of the ways by investment instruments expansion.
The Financial Services Authority, or OJK, together with the Indonesia Stock Exchange, the Indonesian Clearing and Guarantee Corporation, or KPEI, and the Indonesian Central Securities Depository, or KSEI, continue to develop program initiatives to further introduce the benefits of the capital market to the public. One of them by conducting the Capital Market Summit and Expo 2020 with the theme Capital Market for All. In the opening ceremony of the Capital Market and Summit Expo 2020, Financial Services Authority, or OJK, revealed that currently transactions in the capital market are dominated by retail investors.
Ada beberapa angka yang dapat kami sampaikan bahwa 73% transaksi di pasar saham adalah transaksi yang berupa kepemilikan saham yang berupa retail. Dan ini adalah merupakan transaksi yang paling banyak dalam 5 tahun terakhir. Untuk itu, ya, kami ingin menyampaikan, ya, dalam rangka Capital Market Expo ini kami ingin mengingatkan kembali bahwa upaya extraordinary harus kita lakukan bersama-sama dengan topik yang atau tema yang kita sebut pasar modal untuk semua. Ya.
OJK say that capital market deepening is one of the important things. One of the ways to deepen the capital market is in the form of instrument expansion, by providing incentives for issuers to be able to provide instruments that can accommodate the needs of retail investors. From Jakarta, Fajar Wayong for IDX Channel.
In celebrations of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, local pharmaceutical company Kalbe Pharma is proud to present 1,000 knockers movement. The movement is about giving away 1,000 knockers for breast cancer survivors who have had a mastectomy. The Breast Cancer Awareness Month marked in countries across the world every October. Hand in hand, Kalbe Pharma gave 1,000 knockers to breast cancer survivors who have had the mastectomy. Marketing General Manager Oncology Total Solutions of Kalbe Pharma, Selvina, explained that this movement is part of Kalbe's service, which aims to invite the public to care for women survivors of post-mastectomy cancer in Indonesia. To get a backup and smile again and get back to work. The company is deeply committed to full breadth the breast cancer community and aims to arm patients and their support systems. From all sources, IDX Channel. Aside from the market conditions, health campaign continue to be carried out, especially in the boarding school area, which in the recent months has become a cluster for the spread of COVID-19. The leaders of boarding schools are commitment to enforce discipline towards students, teachers, and all supporting staffs.
The 3M campaign and health protocols continue to be carried out by National Disaster Management Agency or BNPB and the COVID-19 Handling Task Force by holding virtual discussions with boarding schools leaders regarding monitoring of health protocols. Head of Darunaja Islamic Boarding School, Sofwan Manaf, said that the boarding school must be able to apply health protocols whether for students, teaching staff, school officers, and families who come to visit. Sofwan added that Darunaja Islamic implements one-gate systems to control those who go in and out of the area. Supervision of family visits is also carried out by online registration, as well as implementing health protocols when families meet students by using masks, washing hands, and maintaining a minimum distance of 2 meters from students.
Murid yang mau datang dia harus daftar online karena dibatasi. Seminggu itu hanya 80 wali murid, hanya 80 seminggu dalam seminggu itu. Nah itu pun setelah bertemu dia harus 2 meter jaraknya. Nggak boleh pelukan, nggak boleh ini segala macam gitu.
The application of sanctions is also carried out if students, teaching staff, or school officers do not use masks. In addition, distance restrictions, both while studying in class or on activities, are carried out to avoid COVID-19 transmission. From Jakarta, Muhammad Olga for IDX Channel.
As coronavirus pandemic takes a big role in current economic situations, here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic business and capital market channel. Before saying goodbye, I would like to remind you on what Mom said. Please do comply with the health protocol by using mask, physical distancing, and avoiding crowd. Also washing your hand often with soap through overflowing water. I'm Claranta Wijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.